ready to roll. Okay. Otherwise we won't hear you. Good morning. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Zahir Bayat, and I will be chairing today's session. Panel members today are Ryan Bissonnette, Anne Crawford, Philip Ghosh, Katie Plaisir, and the Secretary-Treasurer is Sabrina Salatino. We acknowledge that we are meeting on the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with a computer or telephone and have the option of participating via video or audio only. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto local appeal body, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. Today, I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the applicant, the agent or applicant may proceed with a presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined on the application or in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, are there any minutes of the last meeting or meetings that require adoption?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and panel members. Yes, the minutes from January 14th as well as January 21st hearings are ready for adoption.
Thank you. May we have a motion to adopt both simultaneously?
Yes.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, colleagues, we have motion I would like a motion to have the minutes adopted for both January 14th and January 21st.
Good morning, Chair. I'm happy to move a motion to adopt both minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Bissonnette. Mr. Bissonnette moves to approve. Seconder,
Second.
Ms. Plaisir, thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. We have a unanimous vote. Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest of panel or staff members for the items in this period? Seeing none, okay, we'll move on. Are there any deferral requests, Madam Deputy Secretary?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I see no deferral requests. However, we are going to hold one of our items, item number 11, 26 Ellsworth Avenue. We'll hold it till the 2 p.m. time slot. It'll be heard at the same time as item number 17, which is 24 Ellsworth Avenue. So we don't need a motion to do that. We're just going to hold that till 2 p.m. And through you, Mr. Chair, I'm going to ask the members to move a motion to have a couple of files withdrawn and closed at this morning's hearing. These files were previously deferred. The landowners no longer want to pursue the proposals. So we're in a situation where we're going to have these applications withdrawn and closed and no refund issued. So the first one is A0169/22TEY, municipal address 3106 Dundas Street West. And then the other files are related to 33 and 35 Haywarden Crescent, file numbers B049/23TEY, B0050/23TEY, A0766 to A0769/23TEY, A0770, A0774, and A0776/23TEY.
Thank you. Okay, colleagues, can we get a motion to have all of those withdrawn?
I'm happy to move that motion to
Ms.
withdraw those
Brazier?
files.
Thank you. A motion by Ms. Plaisir to move to withdraw, to approve the withdrawal of those said applications. Do we have a seconder? Mr. Bissonnette, thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. We have a unanimous approval. Thank you.
Those files will be withdrawn and closed. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other items before we proceed with item number 1 on the agenda?
No, through you, Mr. Chair, just so this is on public record, we were going to hold item number 3. However, there is someone here to speak in opposition, so we will hear this item in the morning session. So we can begin with item number 1.
Terrific, thank you. Okay. Item number 1 is 239 Atlas Avenue. The purpose of the application is to alter the existing 3-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing a front 1-story addition, a porch enclosure, also to permit the existing rear ground floor deck, which was constructed without an authorized building permit. Committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 8 photographs of trees on the subject property, covering letter from the agent, and a decision number affecting the subject property. And I believe we have just the agent either in person or, oh, there you are, sir. How are you? Good morning.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person, no registered speakers for this item.
Wonderful, thank you. I was just wondering if, let me just see if any of my colleagues have any need for a presentation. I think this is a fairly straightforward one, although there may be some questions related to the illegal structure. Thank you. Do we have any questions, or would anybody like a presentation? Any questions? None? Thank you.
I do have a question.
Mr. Ghosh, please.
So, in terms of the rear yard landscaping, so it was done with the contractor that assured it didn't need a permit, which it didn't, but it did need zoning, and so that was overlooked because there was no permit. That's what happened.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So it is a sympathetic situation, but it doesn't really address zoning. Is there any zoning argument you can make for why it's appropriate to reduce the soft landscaping?
Well, we did have a conversation with planning, and they noted that because the area under the deck is soft landscaping, that that area will also be effectively acting as soft landscaping, though it's not.
For water permeability.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, though it's not technically soft landscaping, so I would say that, and really that's like 31% of the rear yard, so it brings us beyond the required 50%.
Okay.
That would be my,
Okay, and that was something that occurred to me might be the case, so that, yeah, that's helpful.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. Yeah, I had a similar question, and I think it mitigates, which is great. Thank you. Any other questions that we have for the agent? None? Okay.
Through the chair, could the agents state their name and address?
right.
Oh,
Jason-
thank you
sorry
very
about that,
much.
Jason Kiefer, 496 St. James Street, London.
Thank you for that. Sorry for not asking. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll take it into committee and look for a decision. Thank you. Colleagues, any thoughts, any comments? Just for my part, I'd like to say the alteration itself, I do not see it as problematic at all. I think it's a fairly minor issue, and we see a lot of that in the city. The only item that I think has drawn our attention to this particular application was, of course, variance number 3, for which I think there's a reasonable explanation, and there's mitigating circumstances, as was explained by the agent as well. So,
I feel very similarly to you, Mr. Chair. I think support for variances 1 and 2 are very easily supportable. Questions about number 3, I think, have been clarified. It was really helpful to see the explanation of how we got here in the submitted documents. Appreciate that. So thank you for the clarifying questions so far, everyone.
thank you, Ms. Plaisir.
I didn't hear the agent's address.
It's 496 St. James Street, London.
I used to live on Partridge.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Well, it's right behind me, yeah, nice, yeah.
I'm not sure if that's an item of contention here.
Drink it for the records.
For the record. Okay. Like for Mr. Gosham, more?
Sure, yeah, I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll say, just to start out, it was number 3 that was the concern to me, and I think it's a good explanation for how we got here, and I don't fault the homeowners at all for that. But that alone, I do want to say that alone isn't enough. So, but I do think that the explanation we had of the soft landscaping under the wood deck and the deck will permeate to that makes it minimally impacting. And for that reason, I would move to approve all 3 variances.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. Do we have a seconder? Ms. Plaisir, may I just ask if we could add for the record that we don't condone illegal construction?
Sure, I wasn't certain that it was as necessary here because
It's not,
feel
yeah.
where they didn't need the building permitted. So, but no, nevertheless, it was illegal. So yeah, I'm happy to add that for the record.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor, moved by Mr. Ghosh, seconded by Ms. Plaisir. All those in favor? Thank you. You have your approval, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, moving on to we move to item number 2. Item number 2 is 28 Grange Avenue, and the purpose of the application is to construct a new 3-story detached dwelling, a 6-plex, with a covered front porch and stairs, a front basement walkout, a rear basement walkout, as well as rear 1st story, 2nd story, and 3rd story balconies with stairs. There will be a total of 6 dwelling units on this lot. The committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 3 photographs of the subject property, covering letter from the agent, a copy of email correspondence between the agent and Metrolinx. And we also had staff reports from Metrolinx and Urban Forestry.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Jin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just see if my colleagues need a presentation, because we don't have anybody in opposition, but they may have some questions for you or may require a presentation. So just bear with me for a moment.
Thank you.
Okay, colleagues. This application has 3 variances before us, and nobody in opposition. I must just comment on one thing, that I found that the drawings a bit difficult to read as they were presented to us, but eventually my eyeballs focused and we were okay. I personally, I didn't see any issue with the variances. The only request I would have had, or may still have, is that the third floor rear, third floor deck, I believe it's a rear side, that a privacy screen be applied on the east and west sides. I'm not sure if my colleagues have any thoughts about that as well, as you're considering a motion.
Well, one comment I would make is
Ms.
that
Ghosh?
on the west side, I believe the building that it's beside is in fact deeper.
Oh, so
So
primarily
it
on the
would
east
be
side.
east side,
Right.
I think.
Okay.
So I think this is improves the condition of the street. I mean, there was a structure that burnt down, and it's now an empty lot. There's going to be rental units. I have no problems with the variances. I don't think, there's one forestry report, but I don't think there's any conditions, so I find this entirely supportable.
Thank you, Mr. Bissonnette. Would you like to turn that into a motion?
Yes, I'll move it to.
Thank you.
I'll put forth a motion to approve the variances as requested.
There is a forestry 1, if I'm not mistaken.
There is a
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, there is.
Forestry 1 condition.
Okay, subject to the forestry 1 condition.
And if I may, sorry to interject, there's I've noted a Metrolinx condition, but I'm not sure if that's the case. Maybe I'm wrong.
It said that they won't be building in the right of way.
Ah,
Through you, Mr. Chair, those are comments.
Comments.
From Metrolinx.
thank you.
And I'll just add,
Okay.
if we also include that eastern privacy screen on the top.
I'm sorry. That's
The
right. We
yes.
need the privacy screen. Mr. Bissonnette, sorry.
Yes, I'm happy with that, with that motion, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a second there? Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. All right. All those in favor? Thank you. Mr. Jen, you have your approval. Unanimous vote. Okay, moving on to item number 3. Item number 3 is 147 Euclid Avenue, and the purpose of the application is to construct a new 3-story detached dwelling, a 4-plex, with a covered front porch with stairs, a rear deck with stairs, front and rear, second and third story balconies, rear east and front west, third and second story dormers. Also to construct a new rear 2-story ancillary building containing 1 laneway suite and 2 bicycle parking spaces abutting the laneway. There will be a total of 5 residential dwelling units on this lot, 4 units within the main dwelling and 1 unit within the ancillary building. The committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. 8 photographs of the subject property, a decision number affecting the subject property, an arborist's report, presentation materials from the agent, and we also have a staff report from Urban Forestry.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and one speaker here in person.
Thank you very much. Mr. Simovic, are you there?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me?
Perfectly, thank you. Could we get your name and address, please?
Certainly. My name is Dan Achimovic. I'm the architect for the project. We are located at DA Design, and we are at 1185 Queensway East in Mississauga, Suite 3A.
Thank you very much. We will require a presentation because we do have somebody present here, I believe, in opposition, so we'll need a short presentation.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah, the first slide basically depicts the aerial view of the site. If you can, please slide over to the site plan, which is the next one, or the survey, if you don't mind. So this one, if you could zoom in on the actual survey, if you don't mind. So what I wanted to sort of just explain to the committee that this site at the very front, if you can go back out a little bit. Yeah, thank you. At the front of the property, we're at 6.425 meters wide, which is just at about 21 feet. At the back of the property, the site actually tapers towards the back, and it gets narrower. So it's at 5.77 at 18.9 feet, if you will. So it's a very, very tight site that we inherited and started to work on. And as much as possible, we try to stay within the zoning limitations. But as you can see, the site itself is very limiting. The other things that I wanted you to sort of note is the fact that properties at 145 are built on the zero lot line, at least the front component. All of the homes on this street are very close to the sidewalks, and they kind of line up in this very rigid line, if you will. Property at 149, it's also on the zero lot line on its north side. So we kind of took some hints and clues from this and started to design this fourplex. As you can imagine, fairly difficult to design 4 units on such a narrow lot, but I think we've come up with a solution that should complement the neighborhood architecturally. I think it's something fairly exciting elevationally. And if you can slide down to the next slide, please. I just wanted to go over the variances and try to explain them as much as possible. So it is a new 3-story plus a basement. We have 2 units at each end. They're all 2 3-bedroom units, and then two 2-bed units because of some limitations of wall thicknesses and such. We did have covered porches front and back, and I'll explain that because the porches actually result in about 3 variances that are listed out of 9 in the fourplex itself. There is a 2-story laneway at the back, and that one triggers 1 variance on a separate ZAP report. That's the only thing that we have for the laneway itself. If you can zoom in on the site, I can maybe explain the logic behind. So part of my explanation that I started with, maybe just on the laneway if possible, part of what I started to talk about is the shape of the property, right? So it tapers towards the back. So you can see the shape of the actual fourplex at the very front of the property. We're actually on the south side, on the bottom. We're actually within that setback. However, as you go towards the back, the building actually gets closer to the zero lot line situation, but that's only at the very back of this proposal. On the north side of the project, we're actually at back, so you can see the red line, basically allowing for firefighter access to the laneway itself. But the second floor and the third floor cantilever on the north side. So you can see a little bit of a 45-degree hatch that depicts that cantilever. Laneway, again, fits within all the limitations from a plan perspective, but only triggers a 1-foot height variance, and you'll see that in the separate report. If we can go to the next plan. Just wanted to, yeah, so just wanted to show you some of the elevations, existing versus proposed, you know, what we're planning on taking down in this case. So the left elevation is the front of the building itself, and then the image on the right is the actual laneway elevation, and that's where you can see that height limit. If you can go to the next one. Okay, and this is the back views of both proposals. Okay, and the fourplex variances is the next one. Okay, so those are depicted there. We do have a depth. This slide is actually rather important because the dashed outline that you see on the gray area, that's the extent of the existing building. So I don't think we are proposing something that's you know, very extraordinary from a depth perspective. We are over, as you can see in the gray box itself, and I'm running out of room here, running out of time. And if you can go to the next one, I can maybe wrap it up. This one here, the porches, the ground floor, the second floor, and third floor, they all create a small variance. Part of the reason why we provided those balconies, number one, to protect the ground floor entrance. And then off of the third floor, we actually placed a small balcony. That has to do with the building code requirement for an area of refuge for exiting, because we only have one staircase and it's a 3-story building. So
thank you, sir. Perhaps if there's so many other thoughts that you might have, they'll come out during any questions we might have. So thank you very much. We'll move on to the person of in interest or who is opposing, and you'll have an opportunity to respond to that person's concerns.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning. Mr. Chum, how are you? Good morning. Name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Ethan Wang.
Oh, sorry. We've got a different name. A different name on my sheet here.
Okay.
I beg your pardon.
I signed up outside this morning.
Okay.
So maybe that's why.
No problem.
Yeah, my address is 149 Euclid Avenue.
Thank you for being here. You have 5 minutes to make your case.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's good. So thank you for all the committee members. I'm here representing myself and my wife, who are the owners of the property 149 Euclid Avenue. It is the property right to the north of this property, right adjacent to it. So our property 149 Euclid Avenue was built in 1920s, quite an old building overall. And I have the two primary opposition regarding the required variance proposed by our neighbor is first regarding the required variance to about the side yard setback changing from required at 0.9 meters, but the new dwelling will be located 0.29 meter from the side north lot line, which is the gap right adjacent to our building. And me and my wife, our primary concern about this adjustment is our exit of the basement is in between this gap. The current gap width between the distance between the exit of the basement to our neighbor's dwelling is around 1 meter. So if we adjust, our neighbor adjusted, change the setback from 0.9 required to 0.29 meter required, 0.29 meter, you will leave a space around 0.4 meter, which is going to be very, very narrow and tight for someone to getting in and out of the basement, as well as when there are any emergency conditions such as fire. It can make exiting from the basement posing a risk. And also, by the way, that gap also leads to the backyard as well, which is also can be used as an emergency pass to get in and out of the building. So that's our first concern about the variance number 2 about changing the bylaw setback. Our second concern is about the height of the new building, with the maximum permitted height to be 8.5 meter, but the proposed changes to make it to the height of 10.13 meter. Our concern as a neighbor right to the north of the building is it can significantly block the sunlight to our building, because as our neighbor suggested, our lot size is about the same as theirs. It's a very long but very narrow land, so exposure to sunlight is overall very restricted. And currently, with our building is very old, just 2 stories, at the height of between 7 to 8 meters. Our neighbor's 10.13 meter new high building can significantly block the sunlight exposure to our building, which can impact our quality of living inside the building. So overall, those are the 2 major concerns me and my wife, as owners of the property 149 Euclid Avenue, have. We appreciate our neighbor for wanting to renovate the house. It's a good proposal, but we say those concerns should be better addressed and communicated in advance, because we didn't really receive any notice until this letter to attend this hearing. Yeah, so if the agent can communicate with us better and explain how our concerns can be addressed with this with their proposal, it will be really appreciated. That's my speak. Thank you for all the community members.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me just see if my colleagues have any other questions for you at this point.
Sounds good.
Any questions? None? Okay. We'll go back to the agent and have him respond to your concerns. Just bear with us. Mr. Asimovich, are you there?
I am. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I take it you've heard the 2 the concerns regarding variance 2 and variance 4. I wonder if you might respond.
Certainly, yes. If you don't mind going back to the drawings, I can easily explain those 2. In fact, we're actually improving the side condition. So if you can zoom in on that survey just below there, and zoom in on the top north side, because we are dealing with our north side right beside property at 149. So as you can see, the existing property on the ground level is actually at 0.29. Now, for us to have a laneway at the back of the property, we actually have to take our ground floor and set it off the property line 3 feet to allow for firefighters' access. So we're actually improving the condition for their access into their basement. We're actually pulling the new building 3 feet off the property line instead of the 1 foot that it is, so there'll be a larger gap between the 2 buildings at the ground level. The 0.29 we're asking for is only for the cantilevered 2nd and 3rd floors. So hopefully that makes the owners at 149 understand that condition is actually better, and it's going to provide a little bit more room for them. The other variance regarding the height. Our building height for the overall building of the fourplex, we're actually within the height limitation. It's our wall height that's different, and it's the variance. So from that perspective, we've tried to minimize the height of the building, but there are, standards from an industry perspective and what tenants and owners are looking for. So we raised the ground floor slightly out of the ground in order to get some basement windows into the bedrooms. And then we have 9 feet for each floor. So again, with the structural thicknesses and so on, we're really not able to lower this building very much, because it's just not going to work very well from an architectural perspective. So those are sort of the 2 explanations that I have.
Thank you very much. Let me just see if colleagues have any other questions for you at this point. Mr. Ghosh?
This might be more of a building code issue, but I am just curious for the south side setback, when you were explaining the orientation of the lot sort of tapering. So there's a bit of a gap at the front, and then it tapers to where there's a 0 lot line, how's that very, very small gap going to be addressed? Does it present any sort of hazard in terms of debris filling between the two houses, or, you know, like, might it not be better to just be 0 lot line along the whole length rather than to have it have an opening at the front? What's the sort of rationale?
Yeah, we considered that, but you know, you'd end up with this skew inside, right? So this slight angle would certainly be a pretty weird proposition. We're fully expecting shoring to be involved during the build of the project, and as you can see, the house to the south of us is actually on the 0 lot line. So we're trying to get away from that and give ourselves a little bit of room to get shoring and such in. And then as we go towards the back, their house actually steps away. So that'll give us a little bit of room for that shoring and the work to be done.
So the houses never actually fully touch?
Correct.
Okay.
It seems like even the existing house, if you look at the survey, the shape of the existing house is skewed. It's not a rectangle, right? So it's you know, obviously some older homes have taken some odd shapes.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Any other questions at this point?
I have one more question /
Ms. Garcia?
comment. Just to make sure that the deputant, the neighbor at 149, their first question is clearly answered. I'm not sure that was clearly answered for you in terms of how the cantilevering works?
So I don't have an architectural background.
Exactly. I want to make sure that that's perfectly clear. So I'm wondering if we can ask the agent to explain a little bit more clearly what you mean when you say cantilevering on the second floor, which is going to impact that lot or that setback distance versus the first floor.
Absolutely. If you can please go to the front elevation, I can easily describe what that would look like. So the front elevation. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that's the existing and that's the proposed. So if you can zoom in on here a little bit on that front elevation. Yeah, so you can see the vertical lines that are protruding past the brick hatch on the left-hand side. That's the side that we're facing the neighbor at 149. So it is only that second and third floor that are actually at 0.29, matching the existing condition. But at the ground level and up to, it's hard to read that number, it's 11 feet or so, right, above the ground, it's fully clear and it's 3 feet wide. So we're literally pushing the existing house 2 feet to the right, making that access to their basement much easier than it currently is.
So to summarize, the second and third stories will project further over from the main floor, which will be actually further set back from the neighbor's house than the current structure.
Correct,
Just
yeah.
as a summary of, does that
Yeah,
make sense?
exactly. That's exactly it. You could also open up the cover page, which has renderings of the building, and that may be the easiest way to see this projection. Right on the first page. My apologies for making you slide through this. We have to do one page at a time, so. Right, so there it is on the right, top right image, shows that projection on the side of the new fourplex, which is facing the top right image, yeah.
If I may just ask, I think you've also got 2 entrances on that side for your proposal.
Right.
So, okay, so it makes sense that you would have enough room for access to those 2, as well as for your neighbor's side, where I imagine that's where your basement entrance is as well.
Yes, it's access to 2 units from the side, and then the units at the front and the back have their own entrances as well. But the most critical part of this is we have to have 3-foot setback for firefighter access towards the back laneway suite.
Great, thank you. Any other thoughts, any comments? None? Okay, so thank you so much. We'll take it into committee and look for a decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, colleagues. Mr. Ghosh?
Sure. I view this as a supportable application. The, the variances are all quite small, with the exception of the lot lines, which I think there has been a good explanation for why they are what they are on both sides, and particularly the lot line to the north that does affect the neighbor that's here. I think it's been explained quite well that it actually will improve the condition at the ground level. And then on the second and third stories, it actually is quite similar to the existing building, even where it's cantilevered out. I note that based on the survey, the existing house is actually built on onto a very small sliver of the right-of-way. So the current house is actually not conforming with what the survey says should be there. So it's improving in that regard as well by making the full right-of-way accessible. So I think the lot line is fine as well. I do accept what the neighbor says about, you know, the height as well as the depth will cause a bit of a loss of sunlight to his yard, and unfortunately that is true. But what we consider at the Committee of Adjustment, when we look at the 4 tests, and this is, you know, a positive, desirable development for the area, it meets the official plan. If we look at minor, is the impact minor is the question, and I think the loss of sunlight is compared to when you consider the as-of-right developments and what's in the area is very small actually compared to what would be as-of-right, and so I think that's clearly minor. So for those reasons, I think I would call it supportable, and I would move, unless someone else wants to make comments, I'd move to approve it subject to Forestry 1.
Let me just see if any other colleagues have any other thoughts. None. I do have one thought, and that is just, I was looking at, I agree with you, I think it's a supportable application. I think the explanation with regard to the cantilevered side makes a lot more sense, and now it's clearer. I was concerned about the rear balconies, the second floor and third floor balconies, because the properties are so close to each other. I'm just wondering to what degree they'd be overlooked. And I think it may be less overlooked. The balcony on the third floor seems not to be very deep, so it may not be one where people are going to be sitting outside as much as the second floor. So I'm not quite sure if somebody else's eyes are better than mine in terms of looking at the projections and wondering whether we could require a privacy screen.
I don't mind putting in the condition for the second floor, or even the second and third floor, and then sure. Let's put in a condition, because it is tight lots here, and say that the north and south sides of the second and third floor rear platforms have privacy screening.
Sounds great. Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. Thank you. Okay, that's a motion that you've presented, I take.
Yes, with that, that's the second condition after Forestry 1.
At Forestry 1, thank you. Okay, Ms. Plaisir, seconds. Okay, Mr. Ghosh has a motion to approve with those 2 conditions. Ms. Plaisir seconds. And all those in favor? Thank you. Mr. Asimovich, you have your approval, unanimous vote. Thank you.
Thank you
sir,
all.
for attending.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, we move on to item number 4. Item number 4 is 131 Dovercourt Road, and the purpose of the application is to construct a new rear 2-story ancillary building containing 2 laneway suites, pardon me, with exterior stairs and a platform providing access to the second unit abutting the laneway. The existing 1-story detached garage will be demolished. The existing 2-story semi-detached dwelling containing 4 residential dwelling units is currently under construction. There will be a total of 6 residential dwelling units on this lot. The committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, elevations, 3 photographs of subject property, a cover letter from the agent, staff reports from urban forestry, and we have a support correspondence from 158 Dovercourt Road and 1092 Queen Street West. We have 8 signature petition in support from owners and occupants of 142, 144, 150, and 158 Dovercourt, 86 Argyle Street, and 1092 Queen Street West. We also have correspondence in opposition from 129 Dovercourt Road. Okay, we have,
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and 2 registered speakers.
thank you. Good morning, Mr. Creamy. Sal, are you there?
Good morning, through you, Mr. Chair, committee
Good
members,
morning.
and
Name and address, please.
Sal Creamy, address 2572 Eglinton Avenue West.
Thank you. And I believe we have a couple of folks in opposition, so we will need a presentation, please.
Yeah, very brief presentation. Before you is the application at 131 Dovercourt Avenue to permit basically a 2-unit laneway suite following the heels of our incentives to provide more rental units across the city, as well as similar approvals within the vicinity, specifically just late last year at 144 Dovercourt, where we presented a 2-unit laneway suite, which was received well by planning staff. And following that, we did review this proposal with the assigned community planner, and they were impressed with the application, specifically speaking to how we were able to create a little bit bigger units by locating the access stair for the 2nd floor unit outside rather than keeping it integral. And we did it in a very minimal fashion by still having the front main wall of the laneway suite located 7.5 meters from the rear main wall of the primary dwelling, and the access stairs slightly encroaching into that, which is one of the variances. And as you'll see, to ease concerns to the north neighbor and further surrounding community, we introduced a 1.5 meter privacy screen at the top of the small landing when you reach at the top. And as you can see, it's small in nature and it's only meant to provide access to the unit. And as you can see on the floor plans, by locating that stair outside, we were able to create 2 2-bedroom units with 2 bathrooms as well on each floor. So we're excited because they're going to be very comfortable laneway suites that can accommodate a range of tenants in an area where I think we can all agree we want to see more density. And the owner, and kudos to them, did have discussions yesterday with 129 Dovercourt, which I'm assuming is one of the speakers here today. They weren't aware that a privacy screen was introduced on the drawings, but once they were made aware of it, it seemed to ease concerns, and they didn't confirm that they were withdrawing their opposition, but did say they were going to take the comments back to their family and discuss. So we hope that now that they understand that, the concerns are eased, because with the privacy screen, it's not a point of congregation, it's really just a point of access and egress, and shouldn't be any issues to the north neighbor. But I would like to open it up to any questions to the committee and hear from the registered speakers.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any questions at this point? None? Okay, we'll leave it at that, Mr. Creamy, for the moment, and go to those folks in opposition, and then you can respond to those people as well. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, Madison, you've been unmuted.
morning.
Hi, good morning. Could we have your name and address, please, for the record?
Yes. My name is Madison Chinnick. I'm the owner of 144 Dovercourt.
Thank you. You have 5 minutes to make your case. Thank you.
Thanks. I just wanted to make something clear, sir, that I'm in support of the application, not in opposition. You'd said that you're going to move to those who opposed.
Okay. Did you want to add anything at this point, or?
Yeah, I would love to. So recently, a similar application was approved at 144 Dovercourt, my property, and what I'd like to add is that there's no increase in the overall GFA of the site. It's an efficient use by having the exterior stairwell to do this. When you're dealing with what's affordable or more affordable and practical in Toronto, by externalizing the stair, you're saving roughly 100 square feet for each unit that would otherwise be negated by the stair. Because as you know, the fire separations that exist, they can't be used as storage on the lower level underneath the stair, and it's dead space for the upper unit. That's why we found it to be such a practical solution for what are otherwise too large of a unit for the area.
Sorry to interrupt you, if I may. I may have misunderstood or misheard. Are you the owner of this property?
No, I'm the owner of 144 Dovercourt.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But in
So
support of this particular project.
Yes, we just had a very similar application done at 144 Dovercourt.
I see. Okay. So I'm sorry to have interrupted you.
No problem at all. And what I would say is, especially with reference to the changing face of the area, for example, take 155 Dovercourt, which is on the same side of the street, a mere 11 doors up from this site, where they've got 2.7 X GFA. This is a brilliant means of intensification that provides a better mix of units in the area to allow people to move into it without greatly affecting the character of the area, where you still see those beautiful brick exteriors and front porches. From my discussions with the owner of this property, it is moving in the same direction. They're keeping the brick facades, they're keeping the porches, and they are doing a great job in keeping with the nature of the area. I think it's a great means of increasing livability in a highly walkable, highly desirable part of the city, and keeping in line with the move towards automatic granting of sixplexes within standalone properties. This is semi-detached. For that reason, I was in the same position. You're not automatically approved for six. You have to go a little bit outside the box. But this gets them to the same place, and it does it it keeps with the intent of the bylaws, and I think it's moving the neighborhood in a positive direction. I don't need to take up any more of your time. I think it's a wonderful design.
Thank you very kindly. Thank you. Do we have anybody else in opposition, or is that the only speaker?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we've had trouble reaching the other speaker. I'm going to try one more time right now
Certainly.
to unmute
Thank
them.
you.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we've made multiple attempts to try to reach the speaker in support at 20 Fenning Street, but we've been unable to.
Thank you. We'll move on then. Mr. Creamy, are you there? Mr. Creamy, are you there?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I was muted.
No problem at all. We didn't have anybody in opposition. You had a supporter, as you heard. We'll now just take it into committee and have a discussion before we render a decision. Thank
Understood.
you. All right, folks. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm generally in favor of laneway suites. I think it's a gentle way to add more housing to the city. I think increasing population density is actually essential for our long-term sustainability in Toronto. And it supports a lot of things like efficient land use, transit, community services, and addresses housing needs. All neighborhoods are going to contribute to the increase in density, and it makes for a vibrant, equitable, and resilient city. So I'm very much in support of this proposal.
Thank you. Any other thoughts?
I may be
Ms.
wrong.
Crawford?
Yeah, I may be wrong, but I thought there was an objection in the supplementary materials.
That may have been the person that we can't get a hold of. Item number 4. There is an item, you're right, there's an item of correspondence. Let's just check and see if that's the same person we were trying to get a hold of. Would that be the person that we couldn't connect with?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no, the person we were trying to reach was speaking in support from 20 Fenning Street, named
Okay.
Jason Gu.
Yeah, so we do have one item of correspondence, but no speakers in opposition.
Yeah,
Mr. Ghosh?
I would say that I had seen the letter in opposition. I tend to agree more with my colleague Mr. Bissonnette's view than the member of the public in opposition that, you know, having the extra unit in the laneway suite versus another unit in the main house, you know, if we're going to say that sixplexes make sense, I don't see an issue with that. And in fact, having, you know, previously rented a lot of units around the city, usually in sort of low-rise buildings, because that's sort of been my preference. This sort of unit with its own entrance to the outside is really desirable. So if I look at the neighborhood, I understand people. The letter in objection we have is one that I would categorize as a type that we often get at the committee, of someone who isn't in favor with the type of change that the official plan right now actually does support, which is fine. Everyone can have their own opinion, but for me, it doesn't change what I think is appropriate planning here.
Thank you. Any other thoughts?
Just to add too, I think the
Ms. Crawford?
applicant did address having spoken to this neighbor and also addressed
True.
it with the privacy screen
I
as
think
addressing
did-
some of the concerns of the letter.
I think the
Yeah.
privacy screen was the one at the top of the stairs to the laneway suite. Is that the one that you're thinking of?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I suppose the agent has responded by suggesting that they've got privacy screen at the top, and that's in the drawings as well.
That's a good point, and what we might want to consider is to tie it to the floor plans to ensure that that screen, which is indicated
Is
on
in
the floor
place.
plans, is implemented.
Great, thank you.
Okay, sure, yeah, I'll turn that into a motion.
If I may just add
Oh,
a
sure.
comment, when I saw this application, my first thought was a little bit of overdevelopment in the sense that we've got 2 units where one is permitted. But the fact that we've got 2 units doesn't trigger any other variances, especially variances in terms of distance between the laneway suite and the main structure either. So I think that's a mitigating factor, that there's sufficient room to have a second laneway suite on
Yeah.
the upper level. So I think that kind of takes away my concerns to some degree. So
And
I
I
think
would
is
a-
supportable.
And I would build on that, Mr. Chair. I think that in this location, 2 suites make a lot of sense, given the walkability and desirability of the neighborhood.
Yeah, and I'd also say, so, some of the time, so this isn't the first time we've seen someone ask for two suites in a laneway or garden suite. If I'm remembering correctly, we might have another one like that coming up. But I'm less in favor of it when it is creating 2 extremely small suites.
Yes.
That are, you know, that's where I kind of look at it as, well, is this a net benefit or not? But here it's creating 2 pretty livable suites.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. Did you want to now try?
Sure, so now
Put all of that.
I'll try the motion to approve it, subject to forestry number 3 and subject to being tied to be substantially in accordance with the floor plans.
Thank you very much. Do we have a second, Mr. Bissonnette? Seconds, thank you. All those in favor with those conditions? Thank you. You have your approval, sir. Thank you. Unanimously. Okay, moving on to we move to item number 5. Item number 5 is 21 DuPont Street. Purpose of the application is to permit and to maintain the existing conversion of the rear 2-car integral garage of the existing 2.5 story semi-detached dwelling into a 1-car garage with a separate habitable space, kitchen extension. Also to permit and to maintain the existing rear ground floor covered awning, deck with stairs, and the rear ancillary building shed. Also to reconstruct the existing 2nd-story roof deck above the garage and existing 3rd-story roof deck. The committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plans and site plan, floor plans and elevations, 7 photographs of the subject property, a cover letter from the applicant, and we have staff report from community planning, and we have correspondence in support from 25 DuPont Street.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person and 1 registered speaker in interest.
Thank you very much. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Monica Kuhn. I'm the architect and agent for the owner, who is with me here.
And your address, please, Ms. Kern?
Yes, 12 Sackville Place in Toronto.
Thank you. We don't have anybody in opposition, but perhaps my colleagues may. Do we?
Interest.
Oh, we have somebody in interest.
Well, it's the owner, so.
Oh, I'm glad you're interested.
No, there's someone online.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
sorry. My apologies.
Thank you. We'll wait until, so we'll need a little presentation,
Not
please.
a problem. So this is unusual. We are here to request that something that's been in place since the 1980s be approved. One of the previous owners before my client, had requested a building permit to renovate the building and to put in the 2 decks, and also to do what we're trying to get approved now, which was to convert part of the attached 2-car garage into living space. And we pulled the drawings from records, and you could see very clearly where the examiner had crossed off that back conversion, because probably they would have had to go to committee at that point, and so they didn't. They went through with the permit without that, and then must have done it on their own without a permit. And so the 2 decks that we're here for were approved with a permit. It's just they were built in the 80s, so they are, and maybe were rebuilt later, I don't know, but after 25 years of ownership, these decks are starting to rot, and so we have to remove them and rebuild them in situ, and that of course means that for the committee, for the city's interpretation, they're new. So that's why we're here for those variances, even though there's no change in location or size. So we do have a staff report. The only issue that they were concerned about was that they tie the length variance, that you tie the length variance to the drawings, because they didn't want length to then be applied to the 2nd or 3rd floors in the future as part of another application, and we have no problem with that. And we have a letter of support from the attached neighbor as well, and we did send out a letter to the neighbors, and you didn't get no comment from any other neighbor. So even though we requested that if they have any questions to please get in touch. So here we are.
Thank you very much. Let me just see if colleagues have any questions at this point. Any concerns? None? Okay. I just do one thought.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the decks, which are reconstruction really,
Yes.
the habitable space, the conversion, that's internal.
There's no work happening at all except for the
It's-
decks. We're just legalizing
Legalizing, yeah,
something that was built in the past.
exactly, okay. Thank you very much, thank
Yeah.
you. We'll go on to the person in interest.
Charles, you've been unmuted. Charles, you've been
Can you hear me?
unmuted.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi,
Can you hear me?
good morning. I wonder if you might give us your name and address, please, for the record.
Yes, hi. My name is Charles from DUPONT.
Did you have 5 minutes to make your case, or if you wanted to express any thoughts or concerns? The agent is here to respond.
Yeah.
Sorry, through you, Mr.
Yes.
Chair. Charles, can you restate your address? Is it 33 DuPont Street?
Correct.
Okay.
The concern I have is the issue of legalizing or making legitimate the existing construction that was done by a previous owner. Usually people do have title insurance in those instances, and people fall back on them to get things amended. My concern is it's sort of like setting a precedent in the area. So we don't know if, because it's close to a garage that has been properly gas sealed, was there type X half-inch drywall used? Was there ESA permits for all the electrical wiring done in the kitchen? Was plumbing inspected? So my concern is that this person the previous owner had bypassed the city, knowing it had to go to committee, and we don't know what shortcuts are behind the walls. Was there proper installation done? I don't have any issues with the deck, and I appreciate the deck. The one thing I saw with the deck is there wasn't any privacy on the left side, which was a laneway, so to speak, like if someone's on the deck, something might fall down and fall into the laneway, or just in terms of privacy in general. And I don't know if the neighbor, I didn't see it on the other side where the neighbor attached had a privacy fence as well. And it's good that you're knocking down the decks and rebuilt them, which is great. I always, getting something organized, and a shed, it really doesn't bother me. A shed is a shed. So just as long as it's not used for human habitation, if they're like putting like sort of, like those sheds that people convert into living space. If it's just used for just tools and stuff like that, I have no issue with that. But my biggest concern is the renovation done in there. Myself as the owner, I have noticed construction on that house. They've blocked the laneway sometimes, and I made a complaint to the city that they were doing construction within the unit, and they were putting all their drywall and all their trucks on the street and blocking the street on a few occasions. And you can see it in the city, I do have a complaint about it. So I don't know really if there was a lot of renovation done on that property, and I don't know what was permitted or not permitted. So maybe give you an opportunity to respond to that. That would be great. But again, going back to my biggest concern is that's attached to a garage where there's a car. I don't think there was proper, we don't know that there was proper barrier separation between the kitchen and the car. Nothing. So I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll let the agent respond to your concerns. Thank you. Ms. Kuhn, it's yours.
Thank you. I don't know if Charles realizes that after this committee of adjustment approval, if we get it, we will have to go and get a permit after the fact too. So we will have to prove to the building inspector and the city that that the separation between the garage and the habitable space is done according to code, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a complicated process, but we have to follow through as if we were building new, even though it's already constructed. With regards to the existing decks, there are guardrails around them. Nobody's going to fall into the lane. And the attached neighbor also has decks. There are no privacy screens at the moment. The attached neighbor was fine without requesting any new privacy screens. So, I mean, we're happy to put a privacy screen on the west side if the committee thinks that that should be something they're looking for. But for the last almost over 40 years, there hasn't been a privacy screen there, and there hasn't been an issue. So, and I just wanted to have Angela talk about the recent construction that's happening that Charles
Thank you.
referred to.
Okay. Got 3 more minutes to go. You can use it.
Okay, I'll be
Thank
fast.
you.
Yes, we did remodel our kitchen in 2023, and it didn't require any permits. Charles, I believe you called the city, and an inspector came out, and he was fine with everything that was there, so we weren't doing anything correctly. We apologize. We did block the laneway at one point. Our house, as you can see, is right on a laneway. We had interviewed contractors who said they required a bin, and we didn't use them because we felt the only place they could put it would block the laneway, or it would block off visual. It would be unsafe because it would be in front of our house right on DuPont Street, and then when cars pull out, they wouldn't be able to see oncoming traffic. So we didn't go with a bin. We asked our contractor to put the refuse in our garage, which we vacated, and then he loaded it into a truck and took it away. And we thought that was the safest way of going about it. Unfortunately, Charles, I apologize, it did block the laneway when they had to empty out the garage, but we felt that that was a much safer alternative than the bin, which, you know, it's hard living on a laneway. We don't have a place to put a bin, really. So anyway, I apologize for that, but that's our explanation.
Thank you very much. We'll, I think at this point, take it into committee and see if my colleagues have any questions for you, or concerns, any comments? None? We'll take it into committee then. For my part, I think this is a very straightforward application, and it's not unusual to see this kind of application come before us because history is what it is. Things happen in the past. We try and rectify it in the future when we discover new regulations. So I don't have any particular concerns with this application. And I think, for my part, I think the planning, by the way, has identified that we tie the application to the site plan. So that's one, piece there. The other thing I think we'll just add for the record that we don't condone, even though you weren't responsible for something that happens in the past. Yeah, I don't see any problems for my part with this particular application. Thank you. Ms. Ghosh?
I might just say for the benefit of the gentleman who called in as well that, so I think this is supportable as well, but we don't look at it as though, I don't think that it should be seen as creating a precedent that do what you want and get approved later. I think it truly is minor in the circumstances and in the location, and the only extent to which the fact that it's been there for many years even factors into that is in terms of the impact on the neighbors of, say, those balconies without screening. I think we would have people here speaking about that being a particular problem and concern for them if there was an impact. So I don't think there is an impact from that, but very tight downtown neighborhoods, they're tough to construct in, and I think a lot of the concerns are about that, but that's not what's even before the committee, it's just the zoning.
Yeah.
And to me, it makes a lot of sense for a tight lot to have these modifications to make the home more livable.
Thank you. Mr. Ghosh, would you like to turn that into a motion?
Sure, yeah, so I'll turn that into a motion. I'll move to approve it with the planning condition.
Thank you. We have a second, Ms. Brazier. Thank you very much.
And I would just like to add, if I could, it was really helpful to see the exact information that was provided to neighbors in this context. I found that to be extremely helpful in evaluating the merits and what had happened.
Thank you. And the photographs help a lot too. Thank you. All those in favor? We have your approval unanimously. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to item number 6. Okay, item number 6 is 70 Lansdowne Avenue. The purpose of the application is to alter the existing 2 and 1/2 story townhouse dwelling with 4 existing dwelling units by converting the basement, currently unfinished, into 1 new dwelling unit through interior alterations. There will be no exterior alterations. There will be a total of 5 dwelling units on this lot. Committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans and elevations, 3 photographs of the subject property, a decision number affecting the subject property, email correspondence from the agent in order to comply affecting the subject property, and we also have correspondence in concern or interest from 72 Lansdowne Avenue.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. Ms. Suen, I wonder if you could get your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, good morning to Mr. Chair and committee. My name is Victoria Soon. I'm the applicant and architect for the project at 70 Lansdowne. We're located at 53 Greenlaw Avenue, Toronto.
Thank you very much. We don't have anybody in opposition, and there's nobody, I don't think we have anybody in interest that needs to speak by, if I'm correct? Nobody. Okay, so you only have one variance before us, and as your application indicates, there will be no exterior alterations, it's all interior. So let me take it to ask my committee members if anybody has any questions for you. Mr. Bissonnette?
I just have a question about the photos of the condition of the shared driveway.
Yes, I think I did read over the letter that was issued, but yeah, maybe if you have a specific question, I can comment on that as a response.
Well, what I see before me is several photos of debris and what I would say is unsafe conditions in a shared driveway. How can that be rectified and or mitigated?
Yes, I personally was not aware of the situation until I did see the letter submitted. I did notify the general contractor on site to rectify the issue as soon as possible and to make sure that the conditions are safe and to coordinate with the neighbor to see what can be done to make the site conditions a lot better. So I did right away let the general contractor know.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or concerns? None? All right, we'll take it.
Could I make a couple comments?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, if I could make a couple comments just to, I guess, clarify the variance that's being applied for. So the subject property is situated in Ward 4, and we're looking for relief to add a 5th unit to the property. It's in the basement, which is currently a mechanical room storage space, so it's otherwise underutilized. And we're looking to turn that into a basement apartment to provide much needed housing to the city. I do want to note that the property is an R zone. The R zone does allow for houseplexes, so that is up to 6 units due to EHON and the updated zoning for the ward. And it does also allow for apartments, which would allow for 5+ units as well. So as a result, we do believe the variance requested is minor.
Thank you. All right. If there aren't any other questions or concerns, we'll take it into committee and look for a motion.
Sure,
Mr. Bissonnette?
Forward a motion. I think this is supportable of having an additional unit in this dwelling. I don't believe there's any conditions.
None.
So yeah, a straightforward motion to support the variance as requested.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Ms. Plaisir seconds. Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Mr. Yan, you have a unanimous approval. Thank you. Okay. number 7 is 1982 Queen Street East. The purpose of the application is to construct a new 6-story mixed-use building with front balcony terrace platforms, 2nd story to the 6th, and rear balcony terrace platforms, 1st story to 6th story. No parking spaces will be provided. There will be 1 commercial unit located on the ground floor and a total of 10 residential units on this lot. 1 unit located on the ground floor and 9 units located on the 2nd to 6th stories. The committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, elevations, 9 photographs of subject property, a covering letter from the agent, a decision number affecting the subject property, and OMB decision and order number affecting the subject property, grading plan from the agent, plan details from the agents, servicing brief from the agent, a servicing plan from the agent, and we also have email correspondence from Transportation Review, staff report from Urban Forestry, and we have correspondence in opposition from 113 Waverly Road, 115 Waverly Road, and another one from 115 Waverly Road. And I believe that's it.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person and 1 registered speaker in interest online.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Halo. I wonder if you could get your name and address for the records, please.
Certainly. Good morning. My name is Matthew Halo. I'm the registered professional planner with Innovative Planning Solutions. We're located at 3800 Steeles Avenue West in Vaughan.
Thank you. We will need a presentation because we do have 1 person in opposition. So when you're ready, you've got your 5 minutes.
Through the chair, if I may, I've submitted a presentation to the committee. It should be in the late folder. In that late folder as well, there's a response to the 3 letters of objection. It's a detailed response outlining our identification of their issues and concerns, and detailed responses associated with those concerns and how the development deals with them.
Okay.
So if you may.
Get staff to bring it up.
If you may, could you pull up the presentation? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Matthew Halo, professional planner, registered professional planner with Innovative Planning Solutions, here on behalf of the landowner at 1982 Queen Street East. The subject lands are located within designated avenues and mixed-use areas under the City of Toronto official plan. Both are areas where mid-rise intensification, new housing, and active ground floor commercial uses are specifically planned and encouraged. The property is further guided by SAS 466 and Bylaw 607/2013, which contemplates incremental redevelopment along the Queen Street East corridor. Consistency with the applicable land use policy and regulatory framework is provided. The application proposes a context-appropriate 6-story mixed-use building that delivers new purpose-built rental housing and street-oriented commercial space. I'd like to preface this presentation that notwithstanding the applicability of the former bylaw and Bylaw 607/2013, that the comprehensive Bylaw 569/2013 in association with corridors like this permits as of right 2 times density. So 2 times residential and 1 times commercial. Next slide, please. We're seeking variances for parking height, overall GFA, residential GFA, rear yard setback, and rear angular plane. We've reviewed all written correspondence and have carefully responded to them, and many of the concerns that have been identified have been considered as part of the development application. And we continue to be open to working with the local landowners. So we're on a 20-meter right-of-way. So generally speaking, in the mid-rise design guidelines, that it's encouraged a one-to-one as of right built form. Next slide, please. So you can see just adjacent context here. We're in an area with existing development up to 20 meters. This is one of the contexts here associated to the east. You can see that there's the 0-meter setback there, and it's one of the conditions that we've tried to stay away from. So if you can go down to, and then the one on the right is just west of us, associated with another development there. Keep going. Thank you. I'll just go down to the site plan, please. It's on. Next. Next again. One more. Yep. You'll see that the rear yard is at about a 4.2-meter setback. So we're contemplating meeting all the urban design guidelines. One back, please. Urban design guidelines associated with the Queen Street frontage. So there's a 45-degree angular plane that's met there, and there's a tiering associated with that frontage. We believe that the 4.20-meter setback with the rear property line meets the general intent and purpose of the official plan, as well as the zoning bylaw, is a desirable use of the subject lands, and is minor in nature. You can see that on the right, abutting the subject lands on the east is a T-Lab, the approved site plan that has its built form fabric at 5 meters, and there's a rear yard landscaping consideration. One of the concerns that we received from the public was in relation to how the landscaped open space will be utilized, and it'll be utilized by the incumbent resident of the ground floor unit. Next slide. Oh, there you go. And just an overview of sort of the floor plans. Basement, ground floor. We're on the second and third floor here. You can see that the setback is at 6 meters of the built form, and it spans all the way to 7.75 meters. And the fourth floor carries over that same framework. There is a balcony on the west side on floors 2 and 3. There's an at-grade balcony or terrace at the ground floor. Floors 5, you can see this is a similar 6-meter setback. And then the balcony there, it's to the main wall at 7.75 meters. Where the building starts to encroach on the rear yard is on the 6th floor exclusively, where there's a terrace associated with a 4.2-meter setback to the main wall. Is remained at 7.75 meters on the western portion of the building. I'll just wrap up here. It's our opinion that the proposed development meets the 4 tests of under the Section 45 of the Planning Act, and that it's a modest consideration of development, and that it's appropriate use of development, and it's a planned framework as contemplated in the official plan, as well as site and area specific policy framework.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to, let me just see if anybody's got a question for you at the moment. If not, we'll move on to the person in opposition. None? Okay. Let's move on to Mr. Grant. No, sorry.
Shaina, you've been unmuted.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Hi, good morning. Is this Ms. Dinsdale?
Yes, speaking.
Could we get your name and address for the record, please?
Of course. The name is Shaina Dinsdale. Address is 115 Waverly Road.
Thank you. You have 5 minutes to make your case, please.
Great. Thank you very much. Generally speaking, I'm for the building. It is a vacant site. I'm glad that there's going to be something going in there. Glad to see it's commercial residential. Just wanted to add a few things to make sure that they're noted. I was surprised that these are considered minor variances, going from, I believe it was 12 meters to 21-meter height, and specifically the setback from 7.5 meters down to 4.2 and removing the 45-degree angle. I think some of these things are what help make density compatible within existing neighborhoods. I do have in my backyard a 2-story 0 setback that went up. I think he showed sort of the 0 setback, six-story building. So there are walls going up all around. And of course, there's the standard, overlook, privacy, sort of light concerns that come with that. And I do believe there's going to be some back balconies as well. One of my other concerns, though, about the setback specifically is actually related to climate mitigation. I have an LCBO building in my backyard that does have a substantial setback, and within that, they have trees and rocks and soil that really helps with, I believe, the stormwater runoff. When the heavy rainstorms come, Queen gets flooded, Belfair gets flooded, the manhole covers sort of bubble, as well as on the foot of my street on Waverly. And so I did ask, I wanted to make sure that we have a stormwater management plan there. But I think having more of those small sort of soil areas, also areas for all of the incredible amount of raccoons that we have, is quite helpful. It's some of the cheapest ways that we can protect our infrastructure. And so that was my more specific kind of pushback on the 7.5 meter down to 4.2 meter variance on the setback itself. And then I just want to bring up a note as well from our neighbor. There are just access concerns, just to note that there is no access for vehicles on Waverly. It's not a laneway, it's a shared driveway. And so really the construction plan has to focus on constructing via Queen Street only, which is a pretty busy street. And so those are my concerns.
Thank you very much. We'll have the agent provide some responses to you. Thank you. Do we have anybody else in opposition, concern? No? Okay, great. Ms. Melo, that's the only person, so you've heard her concerns. Could get some feedback, please.
Through the chair, absolutely. Thank you to the speaker. We've spoken over the phone as well, I believe, and I've addressed her comments in her written correspondence. I think, generally speaking, about the stormwater management considerations, we have a functional servicing report and a stormwater management report that provides detailed analysis of how the site can function on, or the development can function on the site as it relates to mitigation measures with stormwater runoff. The site at this current time, it doesn't need a site plan application. However, through the building permit process, there'll be deeper consideration about how sort of all those mitigating issues will be managed. There's opportunity for infiltration on the roof, et cetera, et cetera. So there's going to be some Toronto Green Standard considerations implemented through that framework. As it relates to parking, we aren't providing any parking spaces. We are on a transit corridor. It's 10 units. These are intended for, they're intended as urban units, and so, parking isn't anticipated. We have a sufficient, vehicle parking is anticipated. We have a sufficient amount of bicycle parking spaces in the underground, in the garage, in the basement. And then in terms of construction management, that's something that I've spoken to the respondent about, and I've expressed to her that on the basis that we're not in a site plan application consideration and that there's the detailed design consideration through building permit, we'll prepare a construction management plan in association with that building permit process, and work closely with staff to ensure that all the construction management issues are managed and mitigated. The one reference that she's making to, I believe, at 113 and 111 Waverly is that with the construction of some of those other buildings adjacent to us, there was a use of their driveway and their lands for the construction purposes, and I think there was some disruption there. So we heard that was our original approach, to sort of use that laneway, but we've heard from the local resident and understand that there's a frustration with that approach. So we've taken it back with our client, who's actually online, to make comment if he needs to. But in terms of the construction management considerations, we'll be working closely with staff on preparing a construction management plan that's appropriate for the community. And if there needs to be additional consultation pieces with that construction consideration, we're open to that through the construction management plan in association with the building permit.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me just see if my colleagues have any questions. Mr. Ghosh?
So I think you've done a good job in your letter and your rationale and in the plans and the presentation and all of it in showing how this is in keeping with official plan objectives. But I think the neighbor's comment does somewhat echo my thought of you know, when you look at such a large height increase and, you know, when you look at the variances themselves are quite large in terms of their scale, which isn't the only reason why something might or might not be minor, but it is, you know, a consideration. And your cover letter was long, so it might have been addressed in there, but my sort of specific question that I'm wondering if you can kind of explain to me is, why is it that, you know, this is clearly in keeping with, say, the avenues mid-rise guidelines, why are policies like that not reflected in the zoning on this site?
Certainly. Through the chair, I can answer that question. So in this particular area, we have a site and area specific policy framework that drives context-sensitive development along Queen Street.
And that's the one dating back to 2013, which is a bit of an older context. Is that what it is?
That's correct. And so what's changed in, say, from the official plan perspective, and fully acknowledging that, you know, again, we're not in a 569/2013 context, and we understand the consideration of that. We're under the older bylaw. So as of right, generally, some of those variances would be knocked off. In particular, you know, the density and the GFA consideration. The parking consideration is one to, that'll be knocked off as well, generally speaking, as it relates to the new framework. But what's been encouraged in the urban design guidelines and sort of the mid-rise guidelines along avenues and corridor is sort of the anticipation of, you know, other mid-rise development into the neighborhoods. So that context sensitivity, and I think the 6-story development is an appropriate height, generally speaking, as it relates to the Queen Street framework. And what we've done is we've matched the building wall at 11.5 meters, and we scaled it back 3 meters at the first or second story. And then there's a tiering of that 45-degree angular plane as it relates to the Queen Street corridor. And the shadowing and considerations are going to be contained on Queen Street, so that there's that tiering. And because we are a north-facing building, the south will have most of all the shadows, and there'll be minimal impact to that. As it relates to the height, you know, 6-story as of right development is seen across the city, and we think that, especially in the Queen Street corridor, this is an appropriate development. Where it relates to sort of the 45-degree angular plane at the rear, again, the updated guidelines have sort of removed that consideration in terms of the tiering, and that 4.2 meter setback is something that we think is appropriate for that type of context. And what we see to the east and the west is that 0.0 meter setback. So we've given more room, and you know, we tried to match the approved building framework through the T-Lab to the east as well in terms of setting the building back. Yes, we're a bit further, but there are considerations at like I said, 7.75 meters in certain areas. And so I think it's an appropriate sort of development transitioning into the neighborhoods as it relates to the mixed-use corridor. And in my slides, you can see that the developments to the east have, yes, they're a bit deeper, and the mixed-use corridor does go into the neighborhoods a bit deeper. But as it relates to the sites that directly abut us, 111 and 113 Waverly, that mixed-use designation hasn't extended to, so we've given a bit of consideration in terms of the compatibility and sort of the appropriateness of a mid-rise development, or sort of a short mid-rise development. And 6 stories in the official plan now is a low-rise development in the neighborhoods designation, as we've seen through EHON on major streets. But as it relates to the official plan context, as it relates to the mixed-use corridor, it's a bit of a different visioning exercise. But generally speaking, I think it's an appropriate development for the site as it relates to context and transition.
Mr. Ghosh, any other thoughts? No? Anybody else? Any questions, concerns? No? All right. We'll take it into committee then, Mr. Hello, and render a decision for you. Maybe I'll just start this off. I think for my part, when I saw the application, and I'm familiar with the restaurant next door, actually, I think it's a very appropriate structure for this part of the city, especially on Queen Street. So I think the height issue that was raised by, I think, the person in concern is not unusual in the strip of Queen Street. So I do not see this particular application as an issue and as a problem. So I think it would be quite an appropriate structure. I'm not sure if any other.
Yeah, I agree, and I thank you to the neighbors for taking time out to share their concerns about this proposal and its potential impacts. This lot is currently vacant, and a mid-rise mixed-use building is an appropriate form of development on any major street in a busy neighborhood like the Beaches. I noticed precedent for similar projects in this area, which despite initial opposition have integrated well and have not resulted in negative neighborhood impacts. I see clear benefits in adding new houses that supports urban transit, cycling, and a cycling-oriented lifestyle, so I'll be supporting this application.
Thank you, Mr. Bissonnette. Any other thoughts? Ms. Crawford, anything? Okay. Ms. Ghosh?
Yeah, I was just going to say I tend to agree that it's a desirable development. It meets the official plan. There's no doubt that it meets those aspects of the four-part test. And then my question or consideration was, why does the zoning not really match what the official plan and all of these other policies clearly say should be on the site? And I think the explanation is that it goes back to the 2013 zoning, site area specific zoning that doesn't really match how the development is going in this area. So I think given how strongly I feel it's appropriate for the other arms of the test, and that the impact is minor, I can see past saying, you know, the actual numbers are minor as well.
Thank you. Any other thoughts? No?
I would just add, my one sort of hesitation with this application did have to do with the impact on the residential zone to the north. But I think that the presentation today gave good explanation as to the decisions that went into how the design played out. I think 10 purpose-built rentals is a really great addition to this stretch of Queen Street.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And just to your point about the impact on residents to the north, I think it's always a challenge when anybody is living within a very short distance of a major thoroughfare. There's always going to be some impact, and there's just no way getting around that one.
Absolutely. The transition zones are complicated and site-specific in how we approach them.
And also, it's just nice to see densification on sites on main streets that aren't necessarily entire blocks wide, which also is more challenging, so, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. I look for a motion. Mr. Bissonnette?
Yeah, I'll put forward a motion to approve the variances, and I believe it's subject to forestry condition 1?
3, I believe.
3.
Yeah, I believe it's 3.
Subject to forestry condition 3.
Thank you. Do you have a seconder? Mr. Ghosh, thank you very much. All those in favor? Thank you. You have a unanimous approval, sir. Thank you.
Chair.
Yep, sure, certainly. We'll take a short break, 10 minutes? 10-minute break? Perfect. 10 minutes, please. Yeah, thank you.
Make sure your laptops are muted as well. It's okay. We're just taking a 10-minute break, okay?
And so we usually mute the
to go, Sabrina?
Yeah.
Yep, okay, great, thank you. Welcome back. We're at item number 8, which is 69 Coxwell Avenue. Purpose of the application is to construct a new 5-story detached building, a houseplex, which will be cantilevered at the south, east, and west portions of the building with a covered front entrance with stairs, a partially covered rear deck on level 1, front and rear balconies on levels 3 and 4, pardon me, front and rear rooftop terraces on level 5, and rear and side south basement walkouts. There will be a total of 6 residential units on this lot. The committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, revised site plan, floor plans, and elevations, red line public notice from the agent, 5 photographs of the subject property, covering letters from the agent, decision numbers affecting the subject property, a T-Lab decision and order number affecting the subject property, presentation materials from the agent, and we also have staff reports from urban forestry and community planning. We have one form letter in support signed by owners and occupants of 65 Coxwell Avenue. We also have correspondence in concern and interest from no address given, just a person's on Ashland Avenue, sorry, there's no specific number on Ashland Avenue. We also have correspondence in opposition from 2A Ashland Avenue 57 Coxwell Avenue, 2 from 57 Coxwell Avenue.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person. There were 2 registered speakers in opposition. One of them from 3 Ashland Avenue. We've made multiple attempts, but we've been unable to reach them, so now there's just one registered speaker in opposition online.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Wood. Hi. Good morning, welcome, and name and address for the record, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you. My name is Jeffrey Moot, Principal of Moot Architects, 139 Carlaw Avenue, Toronto.
Thank you. I believe first things first, it's a red line notice, so what changes are being made to the application?
Variance number 1. So we received a staff report, community planning, which they had reviewed the previous building submission, measured a total building height of 17.24 meters. Okay. So what we've done is reduce that down to the as-of-right height, 4-story as-of-right height of 13 meters. So I'm hopeful that's crystal clear for all here today. So the revised set of architectural drawings does show the as-of-right height of 13 meters.
So there are 2 corrections, if I'm correct, amendments. One is we're deleting variance number 1, and in the purpose, it's to construct a new 4-story unit as opposed to 5.
It is to construct a 6-plex.
Oh, sorry.
However, it is 4 stories.
4 stories.
Height, but so we did not remove a unit or a rental suite, so we were able to keep the 6-plex designation. However, it is a 4-story submission.
Detached building. Excellent. So there are 2 corrections that need to be made.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And I believe those are the only changes that are before us.
No other variances were affected by that. That was a building height.
Thank you very kindly. We will need a presentation since we have somebody in opposition, please.
Yes. So as mentioned, variance number 1 removed from public notice. Okay, we believe this revision does address the concern raised by community planning and hopefully demonstrates our commitment to responsible housing growth. We think it is in line with recent EHON and official plan initiatives. The property is situated along a designated major street. It's close to the intersection of Coxwell Avenue and Dundas Street East. This location, of course, offers excellent access to public transit, primary bicycle lanes. There's also ample green space, public green space, and commercial amenities nearby. The proposal, we believe, will also complement the growing mix of housing typologies present in the area, such as row housing across the street, 4.5-story condo townhomes, kitty corner, triplex examples which have popped up, and amongst the single-family home and larger apartment typologies that we see along Coxwell. We believe this 4-story sixplex will fit in well amongst the prevailing backdrop of the street, adding needed missing middle rental options. We do believe this location is ideally suited for this type of project. We're offering a mix of suite types. So there's a single 1-bedroom suite, there's a single 2-bedroom suite. We have 2 3-bedroom suites and also 2 sort of 2-bedroom plus den suites that we're offering. So it offers a balanced variety of unit styles and sizes to accommodate all kinds of diverse living arrangements. So we think that's important. We did submit a slideshow, it's up on the screen now, to provide further rationale and context for the remaining variances that were included in the public notice. I hope that information has been helpful, and I'm happy to discuss any of these items in greater detail if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's just see if there's any questions at this point. If not, we'll hold it till later. Thank you. Mr. Ghosh?
So just to be clear, the revision is just, it's still essentially the same built form, but the roof is not being calculated as part of the height because it's not considered living space. Is that what's happened, or?
We reduced floors 1 through 4.
Oh, okay. In
so
terms
we
of
removed from each
floor to
level.
ceiling height.
We had to lower the basement a little bit.
Yeah.
So the main floor height was lowered just a little, but we reduced floors 1 through 4.
I see.
And we shrunk the footprint,
Hmm.
and we lowered the roof up top. So we're
Okay.
north of 8 meters setback from the
Yeah.
front face now and from the rear face. And so we've sort of condensed it, shrunk it. And so that, yeah, it's no longer, unfortunately, at least from our perspective, unfortunately, no longer a living space that we're able to offer up there as previous was bedroom suite.
Yeah, so that's the other reason why, because it's such a large height difference. So you've eliminated that top
all
floor.
living space has been eliminated from the top.
So which eliminates it from the calculation, but it still is there as mechanical space.
The footprint is small and it's there as dedicated mechanical space, and has been reduced. But the overall sort of building and the area designated to the 5th level
has been shrunk as well. Yeah, reduced. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the person in opposition.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we actually do now have both speakers in opposition, so we'll start with the first one.
Certainly, thank you.
Struggling with my unmute. Can you hear me?
Alex, you've been unmuted?
Yes. Yes, thank you. My name's Alexander Tarver, and I'm from 3 Ashland Avenue, which is approximately 50 meters south of this project on Ashland Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Tarver. You have 5 minutes to make your case, and the agent can then respond subsequently. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, perfectly.
Okay, and please forgive me, I've never done anything like this before, so I don't know really, I'm not perfectly prepared other than to state that my main concern for this is that I don't see any parking whatsoever. And what I heard about the examples about the other townhomes and triplexes, they all have parking. Because this unit is on Coxwell Avenue, there's no parking on Coxwell Avenue between 4 and 6 p.m. daily, Monday to Friday, which means anyone who would be parking on Coxwell Avenue would be using Ashland Avenue as a place to park. Ashland Avenue is a dead-end street with seniors and families, and there are no spaces. If you take a ride, I welcome anyone to take a ride on Ashland Avenue at any time, let alone between 4 and 6 p.m. when people are offloading from Coxwell Avenue into that street. There's just no room for parking. So I'm wondering what can be done about improving that situation from a parking perspective on this development. That's my 100% concern. The rest, I have no objections.
Thank you very much. We'll have the agent respond in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Paul, you've been unmuted.
Hello, my name is Paul Grant. I'm at 1939 Dundas Street East.
Hi, good afternoon or good morning. You have 5 minutes to make your case.
Yes, and my case is being impacted by the announcement that this building will be a 4-story building. So if I understand correctly now, because my opposition was directly to that. So we have 4 stories and then the roof line, is that the way it's going to be? And the other thing I'm going to say is that I support the neighbor on Ashland. I have the same issue on Dundas. I'm around the corner from that. Parking is an issue, and we're always fighting to get a parking spot. And the residents on COXWELL cannot get parking permits, and so they come on to Dundas to get parking. But from the architect, I'd like to get a better understanding of the roof line, what it will look like now, because I got the impression that there's going to be still going to be some structure on the roof. Is that correct? Because I'm thinking that there's only going to be 4 stories there. You can have 4 stories and then the roof line. That would be it. And so that would be my main concerns. I'm all for the 4 stories, and other than that, with that announcement, I'm in general support of the revision. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you very kindly. We'll have the agent provide some feedback to your concerns. Thank you. Okay, I believe those are the only 2. Mr. Mood, it's yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul and Alex. Would it be possible to pull up slide A-2.1? The drawing, architectural drawing stuff? Like A-2.1, just to clarify that. Can we scroll one more along the yeah, okay, so thank you, Paul. Yeah, so the mains, to clarify the roof condition, the main street wall along Coxwell will measure 4 stories, 13 meters tall. The same will be said for the rear wall. And so within that, setback approximately 8 meters from the front and the rear of the building will be a much smaller penthouse, as you can see in the slide on the screen now. So the idea being that it is set back significantly from residential adjacencies to the east and from the sidewalk and from Coxwell Avenue to the west. And regarding the parking situation along there, parking is not a variance attached directly to this proposal. Having said that, we're very hopeful to appeal to folks who live and work in the neighborhood and are able to rely on bicycle and the abundance of TTC options located along that intersection. There are primary east-west and north-south TTC options at the doorstep in that area. And so I think it's a very realistic expectation that folks that decide to rent there will take advantage of that amenity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take it into, let's see if my colleagues have any questions for your concerns. Anybody? Any thoughts? None at all. Okay. We'll take it into committee, so render decision. Okay, who wants to go first?
Yeah, I think this is supportable. I support the increased density, building the purpose-built rental units. I understand, I live close, I live in the neighborhood, I understand parking. I face similar circumstances with people from Queen relocating to our street. My street is a dead end, it's narrow. But as a whole, this is supportable, it's desirable, it will improve the condition of the street and the neighborhood. So I'm happy to support it.
Thank you. Any other thoughts, any comments? Mr. Ghosh?
Sure. it's sort of a too late comment, but planning staff aren't always right, and I think this building was better before it was revised. I don't think that the height was a problem. When you look at the way that the city is going, and this is a major street, and they were viewing it as a sixplex, but you know, other developments, if it had been a larger lot and they were putting a 60-unit building here with no parking, it could have been that high. So I'm disappointed. I think it was more livable before, but I certainly think it's in keeping. And I do think, I think it's understandable the nearby residents viewing things from the way that things have been, that parking could be a concern. But I would be surprised if the people that are here are using a car that frequently, and for the occasional time that they might rent a car, they might have a visitor over. There might be some small amount of strain on the parking supply, but I don't think it'll be to the degree that the neighboring residents believe. And in fact, if there's no available spot on Ashland now, there will still be no available spot in the future. So yeah, no, I view it as supportable.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. Any other thoughts? Please, you? No? Okay, for my 2 cents worth would be that I think it's a very appropriate application and a project. I think this is the kind of project that you need in a major thoroughfare like Coxwell. I take Mr. Ghosh's comment about the previous height as opposed to new. And I agree with you on both, on that score, that I don't think it would have been a problem, the height, given the location. Again, it's a context issue. But I will also commend the applicant for having responded to a concern so well and so easily. So thank you very much. I think it's a very supportable application. So I look forward to a motion. Ms. Plaisir, sure.
And do a motion, subject to, I believe it was urban forestry number 3?
Number 3.
As amended?
As amended.
Thank you.
Do I have a seconder? Mr. Ghosh, thank you very much. All those in favor of the amended application? I have a unanimous approval, so thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 9. Item number 9 is 39 HUMBERCREST Boulevard. Purpose of the application is to alter the existing 2-story detached dwelling by constructing a 2-story east side addition with a covered front porch and a walkout basement, and a complete 3rd-story addition with a balcony and Juliet balcony on the west side. Also to construct a rear detached ancillary building to contain a 2-car garage abutting the laneway, HUMBERCREST Lane. The committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, revised site plan, floor plans, and elevations, red line public notice, revised zoning notice, cover letter from the agent, an arborist report, planning justification letter from the agent. We also have email correspondence from the assistant planner, planner at community planning, staff reports from urban forestry and TRC. We also have correspondence in support from 37 HUMBERCREST Boulevard and 92 Methuen Avenue. And we have 3 signature petition in support signed by the owners and occupants of 52 HUMBERCREST and 89 Raymond Avenue. We also have correspondence in concern and interest from 30 HUMBERCREST Boulevard, and we have correspondence in opposition from 41 HUMBERCREST Boulevard.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person and 1 registered speaker in interest.
Thank you very much. Oops, there you are. Hi, good morning, Mr. Ruiz. It's, yep, still morning.
Yes. Good
Name and
morning.
address for the record, please.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Chair and fellow committee members. Just for the record, my name is Roshan Thuru. I'm a planner at Design Plan Services located at 87 Skyway Avenue, Suite 200 in Toronto.
Thank you. Looks like, do we have anybody in opposition or just a?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the speaker is in interest online.
Okay, well, we'll require a presentation and then have the person speak to us. Thank you.
Yes, no problem, Mr. Chair. Before I do begin my presentation, I did submit a red line public notice, so I would like to make a friendly amendment to the proposal.
Thank you. Let's do that. Thank you for reminding me.
No problem, Mr. Chair.
Okay. What changes do we have?
The only change is variance number 2, which is building length. The proposal previously had a length of 19.98 meters. The revised proposal that is in front of the committee today has a building length of 19.23 meters. This is a result of discussions with the zoning examiner, who previously included the bay window that's located along the front main wall of the dwelling. However, we did discuss this with the zoning examiner, and the examiner did note that it is permitted encroachment and that bay window has been removed from the building length calculation.
Excellent, thank you.
And
that's the only change that we have before us?
To the variances, that is correct, but I would like to note that through our consultation with planning staff, they did recommend and they did want us to include permeable pavers for the walkway that's located within the rear yard, and we did make that change, and planning staff is in support of the proposal.
I take it that's reflected in the revised
plans.
Thank
That's
you.
correct, Mr. Chair.
Terrific, thank you. Okay.
So I will now begin my presentation. So as noted, I did have a discussion with planning staff. They are in support of the proposal, and we did have discussions with TRCA staff. They have provided their support in principle. In fact, they actually did issue their permit for the proposal. As you noted, Mr. Chair, there are letters of support and signatures and petition in support. And before I discuss the variances, I would like to briefly discuss the subject property, as it is somewhat unique. So if staff could please bring up photo 1 of my that's within my planning justification letter, that would be great. And while staff bring that up, I would note that there is a large slope that's within the front yard. It slopes downward toward HUMBERCREST Boulevard. So as a result of this condition, the functional front yard is where vehicular and pedestrian access is provided is along HUMBERCREST Lane. And as shown in photo 5, the dwellings located on the west side of HUMBERCREST Lane between Raymond Avenue and Mathoon Avenue similarly utilize their rear yards as their functional front yards. And the photos, are just are within attachment A of the justification letter. So if staff could please scroll down.
Sorry, I think the photographs are part of your cover letter?
Yes,
That's
within
where
the
they are.
planning justification.
Right,
Yes.
okay, I'm looking at them,
Oh,
but I
perfect.
think our colleagues
Yep.
still trying to find them.
No worries. I'll continue to
Sure.
in the meantime.
Thank
So variance number 1 relates to south side yard setback, where it is deficient by 0.01 meters. The dwelling is currently situated at an angle relative to the lot lines. So as a result, the setback only occurs at a very localized pinch point. Beyond this point, the proposed addition steps inward, and a portion of the south main wall aligns with the existing setback of 1.09 meters. I would note that the north side yard is compliant, and the neighbor to the south is in support of the proposed development. In terms of variance number 2, which is a building length, and variance number 3, which is a building depth, the proposed ground floor length is 19.23 meters, which is a minor increase of 0.27 meters when compared to the existing condition. I would note that this length only applies to a small localized rear bump out that accommodates a living room on the ground floor and a bedroom above. If this bump out were excluded, the building length would be 19.09 meters. In terms of the building depth, it is a minor increase of 83 centimeters, and the proposal does exceed the minimum required rear yard setback by 4.81 meters. And the general intent of the building length and depth provisions in large part are to maintain a consistent pattern of building lengths, as well as to have a consistent pattern of rear and front main walls. However, as shown in photo 5 of my planning justification letter, the subject property is located along a bend on HUMBERCREST Boulevard, where neighboring dwellings exhibit a varied and staggered pattern of front and rear main walls. As a result, the proposed increase is consistent with the existing streetscape. In terms of the FSI, I did provide this justification within my letter. However, I do want to also note that as per the site plan, there is dashed green line, which is a stable top of slope. So the area to the west of that dashed line, that area is not included in the FSI calculation. So if it were included, the FSI calculation would have been 0.69 times the lot area. And lastly, just to quickly touch base on the rear yard soft landscaping, it is a slight decrease of 2.7%, or 5.87 square meters. And this is a result of how the rear yard actually functions as a functional front yard, where elements such as the driveway or pedestrian walkways would typically be. So despite this, as I noted at the beginning of my presentation, the proposed walkway is being proposed as permeable pavers. So to conclude, it is my opinion that the proposal represents good planning and meets the 4 tests under section 45.1 of the Planning Act. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tero. We'll go to the person in interest or in opposition and give you an opportunity to respond. In the meantime, do you have any, colleagues have any questions at this point? None? Okay. We'll hold the questions.
Fabian, you've been unmuted.
Amazing, thank you so much. Good morning, my name, or afternoon, I guess, it's 12:01. My name is Fabien Formanois, and I'm a property owner at 30 HUMBERCREST Boulevard.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you very much. And you've got 5 minutes to make your case, and we'll have the agent respond to you.
Super, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity to comment. I live immediately down the hill from 39 HUMBERCREST. It's a bit of a unique lot where essentially there's a ravine in between that property and 30 HUMBERCREST. So a couple of concerns I had, and I do want to start by saying, one, I've never done this before, but two, also I generally support development in my neighborhood. Heck, one day it might be me making a similar application. So I do keep that in mind. There's a couple things of concern for me. So essentially, the two things I would flag for the purpose of this meeting, in addition to what I've written in my submission, are one, the floor space index. So this is a very large property that's being contemplated relative to large properties on the street. And I'm concerned with just the floor space index and how dense this thing is going to be. Mostly because, as I explained briefly, this is just uphill from my property, and there's a ravine between us. And I do worry about that level of construction and just occupancy, just sitting on top of something that's essentially a protected area. And the runoff that might occur as a result on the street that lies immediately below. We often find debris coming from the ravine, so it's not uncommon for just trees to fall down and leaves and all kinds of stuff to pile up. And I worry that by allowing further development so close to that protected ravine, we might exacerbate that problem. So those are the two risks that I wanted to flag for the purpose of today's meeting. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay, do we have anybody else, or is that it? Just that person. Thank you. Mr. Tiro, it's yours for a response.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So to begin with, in terms of the FSI, I did previously discuss the nuances in this case of how there is a stable top of slope, so that area is not included, or else it would have been at FSI 0.69, approximately 0.69. In addition, perhaps if staff could please go to photo 1 of my planning justification letter. The ravine does have a lot of vegetation. It's not contemplated that that vegetation will be removed, so it would provide a natural screening to the proposed development that has been proposed. In addition, I would just like to note that we are complying with the maximum permitted height and the number of stories. And I would also like to note that there are existing building lengths, such as 37 Humbercrest that has existing setback of, or existing length of approximately 20.88 meters, 35 Humbercrest with approximately a length of 18.6 meters, and 33 Humbercrest with approximately a 21.1 meter building length. In terms of the ravine, we did discuss this with TRCA, as I noted, and they have issued a permit, so they have no concerns at this time. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for Mr. Tiro at this point? Ms. Crawford's got a question for you.
Maybe just for my benefit and the benefit of the person of interest, he seems to be focusing particularly on the FSI, and I understand you have this issue, this discrepancy issue. Could you maybe expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of the FSI, I did provide a breakdown within my justification letter. A large portion of the GFA actually currently exists on the subject property. It is a large result of the third story. However, the FSI has been designed in a way where when viewed from Humbercrest Lane, it would still be viewed as, or perceived as a two-story dwelling, as the third story has been designed to be built into the roof line of the dwelling. So that would mitigate any massing impacts associated with an increase in FSI. Through you, Mr. Chair, I hope that answers the member's question.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions, concerns? Nope. We'll take it into committee now and look for a decision. Mr. Ghosh?
I think Member Crawford was probably more talking about the fact that the ravine area is excluded. So if you add, so the FSI would actually be much lower if the ravine area wasn't excluded. So the numbers seem inflated. So there was that explanation. I put my hand up quickly to speak on this because I know the area quite well. It's on my dog walking route, and in fact, Humbercrest Lane is referred to often as like a dog highway because all the dogs walk on it, because it is the only north-south in that area that leads to this park called Lessard Park. It's for the gentleman who's below the ravine on Humbercrest Boulevard, the FSI numbers often can be a little misleading, and I would say from looking at the design of the house, I think in the summer months it will be completely not visible from below the ravine, and the footprint doesn't really go much closer to the ravine. So the remark that I was going to give from my local experience is the same one that everyone here is saying, which is the back of the house is really the front of the house. But also that in this area, all of those houses are very different and unique, and the kind of sawtooth pattern of where the fronts come to because of how it's designed is very much in keeping with the street. So I view these variances as quite minor in the context. It's a very unique context in the city and even in the neighborhood. It's kind of just this block, and then the block north, the houses kind of front the street again as the incline sort of changes. But in this one block to make these changes, I think it actually might improve the look from the lane to have more of an entrance and then a separate garage, but either way, I certainly don't see it as highly impacting, so I think it's minor and supportable. They're quite large lots. It's going to be a large home, but it's the sort of lot that is appropriate for a large home.
Thank you for that, Mr. Ghosh. Any other thoughts?
Okay, so I'll move to approve it. Did we have any forestry conditions?
There's forestry,
Advisory.
there's an advisory, yeah, but I think it's advisory 3.
Okay, so
As well
then-
as a ravine and natural features condition, is that correct? Or am I?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't see any conditions imposed.
Oh,
Okay, so I'll
Yeah.
move to approve it without condition,
As amended.
as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. Second, Ms. Bissonnette, thank you. Pardon me. All those in favor of the amended? You have a unanimous approval, so thank you. Okay. And we move on to item number 10. Item number 10 is 50 Nina Street, and the purpose of the application, pardon me, is to alter the existing 2 1/2 story detached dwelling with rear 2-story partial addition by constructing a front 1-story partial addition, front south and rear north 3rd-story dormer additions, as well as reconstructing the 3rd story with a new roof. Also to alter the existing side west ancillary structure metal shed partially attached to the existing dwelling by constructing a rear 1-story addition. The committee had before it copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans and elevations, 3 photographs of the subject property, and a cover letter from the agent.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person and no registered speakers.
Thank you very much. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Galbraith, oh, sorry, it's not Mr. Galbraith yet. It's Mr. Bueller. Name and address,
I'm
please.
Nathan Bueller of Building Workshop. We're at 1543 Bloor Street West.
Thank you very much. We don't have anybody in opposition, so we won't need a presentation from that perspective. Let me see if colleagues have any questions for you. None.
Oh, no, I
One,
did have.
Mr. Ghosh has some comment for you.
It's the shed that I find a little odd, and I do see that it's an existing condition, but is there any access through the shed? So the location of the shed makes it so that there's essentially no access from the front of the building to the rear yard except going through the building. Is that correct?
No, there's access on the other side of the home as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there is access to the rear yard from the street. Okay, that was my concern with the shed placement. But the shed is existing and then you're looking to expand it, is that?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any other thoughts, any questions? For my part, I was just going to comment that I found the design, especially the street front design, most interesting. Very, I suspect it complements the neighborhood as well.
Thank you so much.
I think it's a nice, lovely design. Thank you. We'll take it into committee and look for a decision. Thank you. Who'd like to take this one on and run with it? Ms. Brazier,
I can
thank
move this one. I think it's a very supportable application. I think it's a smart way of increasing some usable space. The variances to me seem very minor, and I'll move a motion to approve it. I don't believe there are any conditions attached to this one.
I don't see any other. Yep, thank you. Do we have a seconder? Mr. Bissonnette, thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. You have a unanimous approval, sir. Thank you. Okay, and now we move on to number 11.
Through you, Mr. Chair. We held item number 11 to be heard at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Right. Thank you.
So we're on to item number 12.
That's great. Thank you. And moving on to number 12. I'll leave that one there. Okay, number 12. Number 12 is 93 Silver Birch Avenue. Purpose of the application is to alter the existing two-story detached dwelling by constructing a new partial front addition and entry and a front second-story addition. The existing front second-story balcony will be demolished. Committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans and elevations, and 5 photographs of the subject property.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers.
Thank you. Okay, number 12. Mr. Smith, are you there?
Good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Perfectly, thank you. And if you could just give us your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Christopher Smith. I'm with Woodsmith Construction. I'm the agent on file. Address is 80 Redwood Avenue, Toronto, Ontario.
Thank you very much. We don't have anybody in opposition. I don't see any major issues with this particular application. You have 2 variances being requested, both of which look very minor. Let me just see if my colleagues have any questions or concerns, any thoughts. If not, we'll take it into committee and look for a decision.
Yeah, I can do this one.
Thank you, Mr. Bissonnette.
I'll move a motion to approve the variances. I don't see any conditions.
There are none.
So, yeah, approve the variances.
Thank you, Mr. Bissonnette. Second, Ms. Plaisir, thank you very much. All those in favor? Thank you. You have your approval, sir. Thank you. It's unanimous. And now we move on to item number 13. Okay, item number 13 is 79 Whitehall Road. Purpose of the application is to construct a new ancillary structure, a detached carport containing 2 vehicular parking spaces located in the rear yard of the property and a storage shed. The existing detached garage will be demolished. There is a total of 3 residential dwelling units on this lot located within the main building. The committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans and elevations, 8 photographs of trees on the subject property, tree protection plan, and we've also had staff reports from urban forestry and another advisory staff report from urban forestry.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hi, good afternoon. Name and address, please.
Yes, Christopher Walker, 87 Brickworks Lane.
Thank you. We have a fairly straightforward application. We've got a single variance, soft landscaping in the rear yard. Let me just see if my colleagues have any need for explanation or if they have any concerns or questions for you. I don't see any. So let me just start off. The variance notes that this is 33.24% of the rear yard will be maintained. Is this an existing circumstance or is this going to be a new circumstance?
The existing is 35%. We've actually decreased the amount of area for parking. What has put us over from 33 to 35 is actually the path that leads you to the as of right basement walkout. So since we built that walkout, we needed a path to get to it. That bumped us from our 35 current to 33 proposed.
Thank you. And just another quick question. The space below the carport, is that going to be concrete by any chance or permeable?
Oh, well, we actually were trying to be compliant and we're going to put in permeable pavings with 40% open area. And the zoning department said all areas for parking are considered hardscape. Our intention is to put in that crisscross permeable paving.
Wonderful, thank you. I think that sheds some light on your request. Thank you. If my colleagues don't have any other questions or concerns, we'll take it into committee and look for a decision. Okay.
I can take this one.
Thank you.
Thank you for those clarifying questions, Chair. That makes a lot of sense given the existing site conditions. I'm very much in support of this. I think the carport is a nice approach to providing covered parking for folks, and the details around permeable pavers below will be great. I would move to approve the variance with urban forestry memo condition number 2.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Mr. Bissonnette, thank you very much. All those in favor? Thank you. You have your approval, sir, unanimously. Thank you. Okay, and now moving on to item number 14. Oops. Item number 14 is 135 Mavety Street. Hope I got that right. Purpose of the application is to construct a new 3-story detached dwelling, a duplex, with a front covered porch with stairs, a front basement walkout, a rear basement window well, a rear ground floor deck, ground floor covered deck, a rear second floor deck with stairs, an oversized driveway, and a front carport for 1 parking space. There will be a total of 2 residential dwelling units on this lot, 1 unit occupying the basement and ground level, and 1 unit occupying the second and third stories. The existing rear 1-story detached ancillary building will be maintained and unaltered. Committee had before it the following communication: copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans and elevations, revised site plan, floor plans and elevations, red line public notice, revised zoning notice, 4 photographs of the subject property, and a cover letter from the agent. We also have email correspondence from Transportation Engineering. We also have 20 signature petition in support from owners and occupants of properties on Mavety Street and Humberside Avenue. We have opposition, correspondence in opposition from 122 Mavety Street. Oops, sorry.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers.
Thank you. Mr. Goldman, are you there?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Barry Goldman. I'm the registered agent for this application. My address is 321 Carlaw, Suite 203. I'm happy to make a presentation if the committee would like one, or answer any questions that they may have.
We do have some amendments that you've introduced. I believe we've got variances 7 and 6 that are impacted. Do you want to just go through and tell us what changes have been made to the application?
Yeah, we're no longer seeking variance number 7. I'll note.
That's to be deleted, I take it.
It is to be deleted completely. Variance number 6, we are still seeking. I will note, I'll just point out, the proposal is essentially to demolish the existing structure at the ground floor level. We are not proposing to redo the footings and foundations. We're going to retain them. And we're essentially building a new home, or 2 new homes, on the existing footprint. So the side yard setback on the south, or pardon me, the north side is an existing condition that we intend to maintain.
If I may just interrupt you for a second.
Please.
I just want to note the actual changes that have been made, and for the moment, it's variance number 7. that
It's
is
simply
being
number
changed.
7 is being removed.
And none of the other variances are being changed at all in any way?
No, they are
Okay,
not.
great, thank you. Let me just see if we have anybody we don't have anybody in opposition, but let me see if any of my colleagues have any questions for you at this point, or whether they require presentation. None? I don't see anybody requiring any a presentation, nor by the looks of it, does anybody have any questions? No? Okay, well, Mr. Goldman, nobody has any questions for you. Let me just see what notes I had made. No, I don't see any major issues with my questions either. All right, Mr. Goldman, we'll take it into committee and look for a decision. Okay, who would like to run with this particular application? Ms. Ghosh, thank you.
The current building is a very attractive Victorian home, so it's sad from that perspective to see a home like that disappear. But on the other hand, it's not a heritage home, so that's not really a consideration. And then if we look at the plans, it's desirable to put in this type of duplex with two, quite sizable family-sized units. It's an appropriate neighborhood context for it. And if you look at the plans, including the site plan, I don't find anything that's being proposed to be problematic in the context. So to me, it's a supportable application.
Thank you. I did have one question, if I may just throw something, it just occurred to me. At the rear, there's a deck, and it looks like a reasonable sized deck. I'm just wondering if that one, we could add a privacy screen condition to that on the north and south sides. I'm not sure what your thoughts might be on that one.
It's to the
Or
north side of the
is it
property.
just-
To screen it at the south side is really screening the yard from it. It's on the ground floor. I'm not sure that it's necessary, but if it's something that the chair feels strongly about, the north side would be the more appropriate side.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't feel too strongly about it. I'm just trying to gauge the size and if it will be a deck that somebody's been using, but you're right. It's really only on the one side that may have an impact. Mr. Ghosh, did you say it was the west side? Sorry.
No, the
north side.
north side is only a meter, so it looks like away from the next property, whereas on the south side it's
A distance away.
It's quite a distance.
Yeah.
And it's only on the ground floor.
Okay. Any thoughts on this one? I'm not strongly pushing for this particular piece, but I'm not sure how.
Am I right that it's only the ground floor, or is there a
I
second
think
floor
I do see a
platform
second floor
above?
platform
There's a
that
second
mirrors
floor in
the
the
ground
back.
floor.
Yeah,
But it is more to the north where the impact would be felt.
yeah. Okay, well, perhaps I'll move it with, I'll move that we approve this, and I'll put the condition that the second floor platform have privacy screening on the north side.
Thank you,
As
Mr.
amended.
Ghosh. As amended. All right, do we have a seconder? Ms. Plaisir, thank you so very much. Okay, all those in favor of this amended application? Yep. Thank you very much. Mr. Goldman, you have a unanimous approval. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, we'll break now at 12:27. We'll be back for 2 p.m.
Thank you.
Please turn off your videos, microphones. We'll mute